I'm sure by now you've heard many horror stories of major labels forcing their artists to do what they do not want to do. Threatening to never put their song out, shelving their albums, forcing them to make TikToks before they get to release the song. Well, today I am sharing my own story of when a label tried to get me to do what I didn't want to do. Hey baddies, welcome back to my channel. I'm BAER, a full-time independent artist making a living off of my music and art. So I get asked all the time, what's your dream label to sign to? When are you ever gonna sign to a label? And honestly, I'm living my dream. I have my own independent label, Cub Gang, and I don't have a dream major label to sign to. After 10 years of doing this, I really think being independent is the move now more than ever. Like in 2025, you literally do not need a major label to do things. And there's so many reasons that I would not sign my life away to a major label or any label. But one of the biggest reasons is all of the horrible experiences, the horror stories I have encountered just dealing with labels. So today I wanted to spill the tea on one of these horror stories that happened to me 6 years ago, actually. I feel like I'm finally ready to talk about it from a place of healed me. So let's get into it. Little backstory, this happened at a time when I was less evolved than I am now in my career. I was at a point where I had a management team, a manager. I was very focused on chasing what I thought success looked like, which, streaming numbers, follower count, all the metrics. And so I had just finished writing the song that I was hype about. Really excited about. The production was pretty much 90% finished. I want to say the full demo was ready. I was super excited about it. I was like, this song is gonna change the trajectory of my career. And of course, these stories always happen when it's your favorite song, your song baby, something you're so passionate about. So I sent it to my then manager. He was very excited about it. It was one of those obviously promising songs. He started shopping the single around to multiple labels to see who could offer up the best deal for us. Like we anticipated, it was pretty good response. There were several labels that were interested. One of them stood out, just was extra excited, saying all the right things, offering all the right things. And he was like, okay, we got to go with that one. They were offering pretty good terms, or so I thought at the time. Some sort of advance fee, so I would get paid right away instead of having to wait for all the back end. And also just me being naive at the time, trusting whatever my manager was feeding me. And I just was like, all right. He was like, this is good. Let's sign it. I sent it to my producers and we signed the contract. Side note, now that I'm reflecting back on the story, was that already I see a red flag, which was during this whole contract process, at no point was any lawyer on our side involved. The me thinking about it now is girl, what were you thinking? You always need a lawyer. If you take nothing else away from this video, please just take away the fact that if you're ever signing your name on anything, a piece of paper, some PDF on the screen, please, please, please get a lawyer to review that for you, because contracts are always drawn in the favor of the party that is sending it to you to sign. Unless you're drawing the contract, they are not drawn in your favor. I think my manager just read the contract himself. He had dealt with a lot of these types of contracts. So I think he just was like, okay, yeah, this is the standard. We're good to go. I just trusted him. I was young, dumb, and stupid and desperate. In hindsight, was a major red flag on my manager's part, to be honest. It's funny how when you look back with a clear headspace, you see all the things. But anyway, I signed the contract. So everything was great, good communication. We were sending emails back and forth, discussing plans for the song. I had plans to shoot a music video, shoot my cover art. I was setting dates. It just felt like such a promising and exciting turning point of my career. I was like, this is it. And then I get this email out of nowhere from the label head saying, hey, we liked the original kick sample from the demo that you sent. Please change the kick back to the original sample. If you make music yourself or you know about music production, the sound selection for the instrumentation is a pretty important part of the song. Most creatives are pretty intentional about why they're using certain sounds over other sounds. That being said, it's also not like one sample can just change the whole song. It's more like that thing you can't really place your finger on, that je ne sais quoi, that can really elevate the song, just kind of take it to the next level. Distinguish it from a demo to the final product. And especially for an EDM hip hop type of song, which is the song I had, kick drum is pretty important. Me and my producer spent time choosing this drum sound for the song. I feel like the average listener might not be able to distinguish, oh, this is a different kick sound. But when you are the person creating the music, every little thing goes into the overall quality of the final product. So obviously, me and my producers, we were very adamant about, we want this kick sound. So we stood firm. They came back with, no, it just changes the whole vibe of the song, which it doesn't. No, we like the original demo better. Do that. Literally, I had to tell them 3 times over 3 back and forth emails, I want that kick sound. And honestly, at this point, I was kind of doubting myself. I was like, I really feel strongly about this kick sound, but is it worth all this trouble of them being difficult with me and all this back and forth? It just totally killed the excitement and the momentum of what we already had going. Finally, after 3 or 4 back and forths, they came back with, fine, cool. Breath of relief, finally won this battle. But then they completely disappeared, ghosted me, just like crickets. I'm asking for the release date, nothing. Gone from excitement, oh my God, this is gonna be huge, to just nothing. All over a creative difference of a kick sample. Fast forward, more than 2 months go by. My management team is following up with them again and again and again. We literally went from communicating 3 times a week to just dead silence from them, continuous follow-ups with nothing. Finally, my manager is like, I think it's time for you to send a firm email to the label head explaining why this is just not okay. Let me pull up the email actually. As I'm looking, I actually had to send 2 emails. The first one he, I think, ignored. Hey, hope you're well, keeping it polite. I have a major concern about my release, My management has made numerous attempts to contact you to obtain marketing assets, the URI number, and find out when it will be released. They have not received any response in over 2 months. When I deal with a label, I expect open communication and mutual respect between all parties. I had many choices of who to release my song through, and I chose you. Please give me the respect a good label would give to its client. I look forward to hearing back. Nothing. Sent another email. Hope your morning is going well. I just wanted to emphasize the urgency of what my manager has said already. Basically, just being really firm. This is what I expect. I expect the song to be marketed as you promised, to be placed on these certain playlists that you promised, to get these streams that you promised. Again, as I'm thinking back, I'm like, how can a label promise these things? Labels, they might have certain connections, but promises are empty. They cannot promise you anything. They can say yeah, we might have a better shot than someone who has no connection on getting you these streams and playlists, but at the end of the day, it's still up to the playlist curator and it's not up to them. They're not the ones literally placing the song on the playlist. I was naive. So after 2 firm emails, they finally gave me this lame excuse of we were so busy, basically. And then saying, when is your upcoming song being released? So I can give you a good release date. First of all, that sentence does not even make sense. And my manager is like, this is the release date you told us about. Can we confirm that? And he even had to attach a screenshot of the email where the label told my manager, this is the confirmed release date. He's like, okay, this is what you said. Can we confirm it again? Are we releasing it in 2 weeks, basically. The label comes back with another release date. He's like, sorry, actually, this date is no longer an option. The closest date I can give you is July 12th. So at this point, we're like, okay, we don't really have a choice but to agree to this new date of release. It's fine. It's a few weeks past the original. That's fine. But my manager is being firm and he's like, we can agree to this, but please confirm that you are still gonna do all these things you said you were gonna do for our song. The communication is now just so choppy. Like every time we email them something, I have to then follow up with being the firm artist hand, like, hey, please read what my manager said. Please respond. And like he comes back with some like wishy-washy type of thing. Basically, their tone just completely changes after I stand firm on the fact that I want this kick sample that I chose for my song. Sometimes it just makes me wonder if these executives, label heads, like they just get off on like telling people what to do, like feeling like they are the boss and like they have the final say creatively. This is also not the only experience I've had where a creative difference happens between the artist and the label is just being super difficult. When like in reality, the label needs the artist to make money. If they had no art, they would have no product. I get that it's supposed to be a collaborative effort, but everyone needs to play their role. Like the creative person knows what they're doing creatively, and the marketing person knows what they're doing marketing business-wise. I'm staying in my role of bringing forth the best creative product. Is it really too much to ask the business to just stay in the business role and be good at what they're doing? But anyway, back to the story. So we have this new release date. Great. Honestly, at that point, I'm still excited because I finally got a response from them after more than 2 months of like nothing. I'm just like, okay, like naively, like things are back to normal. It's all right. It's all good. I'm like scheduling all the details of the release around the new date they gave me, making sure the visual's all done, getting all the details sorted, basically. Dealing with music labels is like being in a toxic back and forth relationship. It's like when the other person just like does you so dirty, leaves you on red, love bombs you at first, and then just like ghosts you. Literally, that's how the experience was. Finally, when they come back, they apologize. It's a lame apology, but you're still like, oh my God, they're back. Like things are all okay again. That is literally what dealing with a music label is. They love bomb you at first, a little thing happens and they ghost you, and then they come back with a lame apology and you accept it, and you're even a little excited that they responded to you at all. So I'm back to my excited self because now I can finally make plans, get all the assets in order. Lo and behold, out of nowhere, they're like, we need to push it back again. So they push it back another month. And at this point, it's just like, we have no choice but to just accept everything the label is throwing at us because I already signed the contract. They literally have my song signed to them now. And another red flag that now in hindsight I'm picking up on is that nowhere in the contract was there a set release date, which is just, you should never do that. There should always be a clear cut, like, this is when it's going to be delivered. This is when your payment's going to be delivered. So we are at the mercy of the label, basically. Long story short, they push back this single a total of 3 times. And finally, we have a release date. And the song, all thanks to universe and God, does come out on that final time they pushed it back. All that being said, was it worth the stress that all of this caused me during the 5 months that I was dealing with them? No, it did not. It was not worth it. And you might be wondering, were the results good? They were okay. It got on some playlists. It got some streams. Nothing impressive though. Nothing that I couldn't have achieved on my own, basically. The 5 months that I was dealing with them, someone could be like, yeah, you could have been doing other things. But if you've been in a toxic relationship, you also know that while it's going on, it literally siphons so much of your energy that you're just obsessing tunnel vision over this situation, especially when it's a song you really believe in, a situation that you've invested so much energy and heart into. It just takes so much of your energy away that you end up not really being able to focus on that much more than like trying to solve the situation. And again, it just is mind-blowing to me that this all happened over a kick sample. I can't even imagine artists who have like full-fledged visions for their whole album. Their whole entire like ability to release an album is at the mercy of their label. Like this was just one song and one kick drum sample of a creative difference. It's mind-blowing to know that it's over something so small and they just completely changed their whole attitude when I asserted my creative decision. And that's what makes me think like, I feel like label people, because like I said, this is not the only time I've experienced this. They like feeling this power of we get the final say. We're the executive decision maker. And like when they get any pushback, they just throw you to the side because they don't like acquiescing to the artist's creative decision. God forbid, like an artist stands firm. They don't like that. They like the power of being powerful and like, I'm the final boss here. That's just what I think. Looking back, I just wish I could tell that younger version of myself to believe in myself more. I know it sounds so cheesy, but I also do believe like I had to go through so many trials and tribulations to get to the point where I believe in myself so much now that I will never sign a contract blindly, just out of empty promises and some manager telling me like, okay, it's good to sign. Like I need my lawyer to go through that, redline it, send it back, all that stuff. I will be patient and wait for the most aligned wording that supports my highest interest and protects me and my intellectual property, my art. I would rather do it independently than do something that doesn't protect me, because all the songs I've released independently by myself, at least 90% of my catalog, those songs have gone on to do just as well as this song that was signed to a label that promised me all these astronomical streams and playlisting and all that stuff. I was able to build up all of that on my own. So if younger me could see that then, she would not have signed that stupid deal. Because now, not only do I have no control over what happens to that song, like the most it can do for me now is earn streams. You know, I can't place it in a movie. I can't go on to like shop it for like sync placements, further my opportunities for that song basically, which I have the ability to do for all my other songs because I own them. This is not to say you should never ever work with a label or that every contract is a trap to get you. Although, you know, if I'm keeping it real, I think they all have loopholes that will trap you. I just don't want to be like a pessimistic, jaded person saying like, don't ever sign a contract, but definitely always get your own lawyer to review the terms and make sure that you are protected from all sides, all angles, all possibilities. And another thing is to always think long term, believe in yourself, don't make decisions from a desperate energy, which I certainly did at the time. I was desperate for more playlisting, more streams, better metrics, all of that. Thankfully, I have evolved past that. All right. Anyway, if you enjoyed this story or if you got anything out of it, I would so appreciate if you could hit that like button. If you want more stories like this, I definitely will be sharing more. Many a tea to spill along my decade-long journey of being an independent artist. So definitely hit subscribe if you want more of that. And please, I would love to know down in the comments, you know, what you thought of this whole situation. If you think they're in the right, if you think I was stupid for signing that deal, if you think major label deals are awesome, or even if you have had any similar situations of your own, I would love to know your tea as well. Till next time, baddies. Bye.